The Mongols nearly conquered the world. How did a nomadic tribe from the steppes rise to dominate the known world, and why did their conquest suddenly end? The Mongol Empire, under the leadership of Genghis Khan and his successors, became the largest contiguous empire in history. Their unparalleled military tactics, relentless expansion, and strategic brilliance struck fear into the hearts of civilizations from China to Europe. At their peak, the Mongols seemed destined to control the entire world. Yet despite their rapid conquests, their empire did not last forever. Various factors led to their eventual slowdown and fragmentation. Internal strife, shifting geopolitics, and even unforeseen environmental conditions all played a role in halting their march of domination. Even though the Mongol Empire fell, its impact is still evident today. From military strategies to trade networks and cultural exchanges, the Mongols reshaped history in ways that continue to influence the modern world. We'll uncover what made them nearly unstoppable, what ultimately led to their decline, and where their legacy endures today. Understanding the Mongols isn't just about their battlefield conquests, it's about how they changed civilizations forever. Whether through revolutionizing warfare, shaping trade routes that would persist for centuries, or even influencing how modern states govern, their empire left a mark that goes far beyond their military campaigns. By looking at their rise and fall, we gain insight into the nature of power, expansion, and the fragile balance that holds even the mightiest empires together. What allowed a group of nomadic horsemen to build the largest land empire in history? The Mongols were not just ordinary raiders, they were master strategists. Genghis Khan, born as Temujin, united warring tribes through sheer force, diplomacy, and a ruthless sense of loyalty. His military reforms created a disciplined, adaptable, and incredibly mobile army, one that could strike with devastating speed. Their use of psychological warfare and terror was another key factor. Entire cities surrendered without a fight after hearing of the Mongols' reputation. They also absorbed the knowledge and technology of conquered peoples, incorporating Chinese siege weapons and Persian engineers into their war machine. Their decentralized command structure allowed for swift decision-making, while their strict discipline ensured battlefield efficiency. Each soldier was trained to ride, fight, and survive in the harshest conditions, making the Mongol cavalry one of the most formidable forces in history. By combining strategic innovation with relentless aggression, the Mongols shattered empires that had stood for centuries, from the Jin dynasty in China to the Khwarezmian Empire in Persia. Their rise was not just a fluke, it was the result of a carefully honed system of conquest. How did the Mongols defeat armies that were larger and better equipped? The Mongol army's effectiveness came down to superior tactics, organization, and adaptability. Their use of feigned retreats, encirclements, and multi-pronged attacks confused and exhausted their enemies. Commanders operated with incredible independence, ensuring swift responses to battlefield developments. Logistics also played a crucial role. The Mongols traveled light and carried portable supplies, allowing them to cover vast distances quickly. They also established relay stations along their routes, ensuring a constant flow of communication and reinforcements. Unlike many medieval armies, the Mongols valued intelligence and espionage. Before launching an attack, they would gather detailed information on enemy strengths, terrain, and political divisions. Their ability to adapt strategies based on this intelligence made them unpredictable and deadly. Even cities with high walls were not safe. The Mongols adopted siege warfare techniques from the Chinese and Persians, employing massive siege engines, tunnels, and even biological warfare. No matter how advanced their opponents were, the Mongols found a way to break them. If the Mongols were so unstoppable, what caused them to slow down and eventually fragment? One of the biggest reasons for the Mongols' decline was leadership struggles. After Genghis Khan's death, the empire was divided among his sons and grandsons, leading to internal conflicts. As rival factions vied for power, unity weakened, making further expansion difficult. Environmental factors also played a role. The Mongols relied heavily on their horses for mobility, but as they pushed into areas with harsher climates, their cavalry lost its effectiveness. The terrain of Southeast Asia and the dense jungles of Vietnam, for example, proved difficult for their style of warfare. Disease was another major factor. The Black Death, which spread through Mongol trade routes, devastated populations, in both their empire and the territories they sought to conquer. The plague weakened their armies and disrupted their ability to govern their vast domain. Lastly, as conquered peoples resisted Mongol rule, rebellions and local uprisings drained resources. Without the same level of centralized control that Genghis Khan maintained, the empire fractured into separate khanates, each with its own interests. How close did the Mongols come to conquering the entire European continent? In the mid-13th century, Mongol forces launched a devastating invasion of Europe, defeating armies in Poland, Hungary, and Russia. They reached as far as Vienna, causing panic across the continent. With their superior mobility and tactics, they crushed medieval European knights and armies with ease. However, the Mongols unexpectedly withdrew. The reason? The death of the great Khan Ogadai in 1241 forced Mongol commanders to return home for a succession crisis. Without this interruption, Europe might have faced a full-scale Mongol occupation. Despite their withdrawal, Mongol rule in Russia lasted for centuries under the Golden Horde, deeply influencing Russian culture, military structure, and governance. Some historians argue that if internal politics hadn't interfered, the Mongols could have pressed further into Western Europe. Though Europe was spared from full conquest, the mere possibility of Mongol dominance reshaped European military strategy, trade, and even castle designs, all to counter the Mongol threat. How did the Mongols govern such a vast and diverse empire? Despite their reputation as ruthless conquerors, the Mongols were surprisingly pragmatic rulers. They implemented policies that encouraged trade, religious tolerance, and administrative efficiency. Unlike many empires that imposed their own culture on conquered lands, the Mongols often adopted local customs and governance structures to maintain stability. Under the rule of Genghis Khan and his successors, a system of meritocracy was established, allowing capable administrators from any background to rise in rank. This meant that Persian, Chinese, and even European advisors played key roles in managing Mongol territories. The empire was divided into administrative regions called khanates, each ruled semi-independently, but still paying tribute to the Great Khan. Trade flourished under Mongol rule, particularly during the Pax Mongolica. With safe passage guaranteed across the Silk Road, merchants, scholars, and travelers like Marco Polo could journey between Europe and Asia with unprecedented ease. This led to a massive exchange of goods, technology, and ideas, fueling the Renaissance in Europe. However, Mongol rule was not without hardship. Some regions faced brutal repression, heavy taxation, and forced labor. Rebellions were often met with overwhelming military force. While some thrived under Mongol governance, others suffered under their iron grip, making the Mongol legacy one of both prosperity and destruction. What lasting effects did the Mongols have on global civilization? The Mongols didn't just conquer lands, they connected them. The Pax Mongolica, a period of relative peace under Mongol rule, allowed for unprecedented trade along the Silk Road, linking Europe, the Middle East, and Asia like never before. Their conquests facilitated cultural exchange, spreading technology, medical knowledge, and even culinary traditions between vastly different regions. Gunpowder, paper currency, and printing techniques flowed across Mongol-controlled lands, accelerating global innovation. Even modern borders and political structures bear the imprint of Mongol rule. Many regions, such as China and Russia, were profoundly shaped by Mongol governance, military organization, and state-building methods. Finally, their influence on warfare is still evident today. The Mongols pioneered rapid, decentralized command structures that modern militaries now employ, proving that their strategic genius was ahead of its time. The Mongols' legacy, a nearly global empire. Could any empire in history match the Mongols' sheer dominance and speed of conquest? The Mongol Empire remains one of the most extraordinary forces in world history. Their rise was fueled by military brilliance, strategic innovation, and a relentless drive to expand. They reshaped civilizations, connected continents, and left an indelible mark on the modern world. Yet, even the greatest empires have limits. Leadership struggles, environmental challenges, and resistance from conquered peoples eventually halted their expansion. But their legacy persists in warfare, governance, and global trade. The story of the Mongols serves as a powerful reminder of how quickly an empire can rise, and how despite their near-total dominance, even the most formidable forces in history are not invincible. Ultimately, the Mongol story is one of both awe and caution. Their ability to unify vast regions under a single rule demonstrated the possibilities of strategic warfare and administration. But their decline also highlights the inevitable internal and external pressures that test every great empire. By studying their history, we not only uncover an era of unprecedented conquest, but also gain lessons about resilience, adaptation, and the factors that determine the fate of powerful civilizations. What do you think was the biggest reason the Mongols stopped their conquest? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed this deep dive into Mongol history. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.